Hi, I'm Pat Sloan. This is my Fireside Chat, and it is Monday, June 10th, and I'm telling you the date because it is the shipping department's birthday. Woohoo! Everybody, do the wave, shoot off the balloons. Yes, it's the shipping department, who is my husband, if you haven't been around a little while and known that that's what I call him. I started calling them that years ago, the shipping department, and it's just kind of fun. His name is Greg, and it's his birthday, and and he didn't want to be on camera to say hi. So I'll tell, hi. So this past week I went out, actually Greg and I both went out to Baby Lock in the suburbs of St. Louis, Missouri, where their facilities are, and they have a training center. And I went out to do some work with the other ambassadors and the Baby Lock trainers on some of the machines. So I wanted to tell you about that because it was very fun. They've been doing this event for the ambassadors and some of the other business people in the business for 5 years. I think this is year number 6, and this year they decided just to focus on having training for the ambassadors, which was really, really cool. So I did a few different things, and I brought some of the stuff with me so that you could see it, because there's some of it that you'll probably see show up again because we'll be doing projects and stuff like that. So I have never, believe it or not, I have never made one of these keychains. Like, how does that happen that you've never made one of these? I mean, how many of you have made one? Raise your hand. I've seen them, and I knew that they were not terribly difficult. So we did this as our first project because it was going through some of the functionalities of my Solaris, the Baby Lock Solaris that they gave me. So I work with the Baby Lock company, and they wanted to show us some of the features of working with bulk, because inside here, that's kind of thick, there's webbing, and we could lay out the fabric, and then you basically clamp this thing on the end. So they had all the tools. So this was kind of like a warm-up. It's really fun when you're doing an event that's going to have a lot of information, to be able to break that down into sort of manageable bits that everybody can absorb it. And I absorb best by making something. So this was the first thing we did. Then we spent most of the day, the first full day, working with the embroidery unit. After we did some other stuff, then we sort of jumped into the embroidery unit. And I'll link you over to watch some videos from the company, because they're really well done. They give you close-ups and all that kind of stuff that I don't have right here. But I'm just going to show you the projects and tell you about what we did. So this is the first thing that we embroidered, and it's not a pot holder. It's actually, can you guess? It's a handle. So you wrap it around the handle like of a tote bag, or your what is it, rolling case? Yeah, put it around the rolling case. So that is what I made. Now, if you haven't done a lot of embroidery, you might not. Sorry, that's loud, isn't it? You might not realize what the backs look like. So I left all the back stuff to finish up because I haven't done it yet. Can you see there's like the threads I have to trim, and then this is the stabilizer. I'm going to show you another piece then that has stabilizer. So that sort of papery stuff is stabilizers. And so you just basically get some tweezers, or if it's bigger pieces, you just pull it off. It's just trash. Just think about that. If you buy an embroidered shirt and then you look on the inside, you're going to see some stabilizer, and that's pretty much what happens with these things. So the other big project that we did that day is in the Solaris. Several of us have Lindsay Wilkins and myself and Nancy Zeman's designs are in there. So there's a tab for our designs, for the celebrity designs, and the whole group stitched out such a cool project. You may have seen me show it. This is a garden flag. So let me just first show you here's the back. Here's the back of it. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But it's Velcroed, so that you would, plunk it over a garden flag, and it would hang like this. So we went through, let me just bring this down here because I can point to it a little bit better while we're talking. So each person was bringing up there, well, first of all, we learned how to put this. This is sticky stabilizer. Can you see my fingers like, yeah, see it's sticky, it's tacky. So this was really nice because of the way you would hoop it with the sticky stabilizer. Like I was learning about stabilizers because it's not something I normally work with. But then we went through to see how you could develop the colors for this, because there's quite a few different thread changes. I don't know, maybe about 10 or 12 different threads changes that you can do, because it's stitched in sections. Like it would stitch all the yellow, or stitch, you know, all the green and the stem around. But the computer lets you do random. It generates, that's the word. It generates color palettes. So you put in the colors and it generates color palettes. So everybody's are different. And I'm going to have to get some of them. I'm going to get them to send me, because there were like 15 of us there. And then we could put a monogram. You could put different words in there, whatever words you wanted. But I wanted to keep it simple and just do one monogram. So that that project was just amazing fun. You know, it took a little while to stitch this out. So we go run around, chat with people while that was happening. And then on the back side, I wanted to show you, if you're not used to doing embroidery, see now this will all come off. See, there's the, it's just stuck down. There's a basting line here, so I'll just pull that up, and then I'll start bringing the stabilizer and tearing it all the way down to the flowers, and then, you know, pick it out of the main areas. But because this isn't really going to be seen inside the garden flag, I don't feel a need to get too crazy with it. You know, I will probably leave, you know, leave little bits in there. I'm not going to try to get tweezers and pull, you know, pull everything out really meticulous, because the back isn't really going to be seen. That's my story anyway. Now, the next thing that we did that evening, well, we all had, you know, like breakfast, lunch, and dinner together. They have a training facility which actually has classes that you can take on your own machines. They have classes for dealers and classes for the ambassadors, and they train their own trainers there, because they have trainers that go out across the United States and probably the world that will get the same training on like new machines or new techniques. So that is a facility that is next to their office building. So it's its own training building, which is super nice. It's all set up perfect. And so if you ever want to take a class on one of your baby lock machines, you can go to their website and find out when the next training is for the quilters and the sewers. So there's all kinds of stuff. They also do all their maintenance for all the people who maintenance the machines at all the facilities at your local dealer. They all get trained there as well. So they were switching machines out. Like we had the Solaris first, and then in the evening we had an evening program. It was a talk given by Jason and Cinnamon Miles, and they are a couple that do a lot of philanthropy, and they have an organization they wanted to share about, because they will be partnering with Baby Lock. And all of us ambassadors will also be working on an event starting in September through the end of the year to support their organization, which is called So Powerful. There you can see on the edge. This is their book, We Are So Powerful, Jason and Cinnamon Miles. And here's Cinnamon. And she is a designer. She designs children's clothing. I mean, not children's clothing. She designs clothing for like American Girl dolls, that size doll. She has that's what her business is. And Jason has always worked with companies that do things that go out to help communities. You know, that's what his business side is. And so what they developed was he had been in Africa and found that there was a need for the girls to have, in order for them to stay in school. There was a very, very poor community that, in order for them to stay in school during their cycle, you know, they had no products to help them. So they had to stay home because they couldn't go to school while they had their period. So he was looking at this, and there was a group trying to like work with this and trying to find ways to make money. And he started working with a lady named Esther. And so I know there's a lot of details here that I don't have, that I will get before we launch. But basically, Jason decided that this was something that he could help them learn to sew, because if they learn to sew, they could sell things within their community that could raise money to support these girls, to get them the products they need so that they could go to school. It's a long cycle, but it's working tremendously well, to the point where they went past the initial program, which was they were sewing school uniforms, because that was very important for the children to have school uniforms. And so the community sold those, to their fellow people in the community. Then they wanted to go to like the next step. So now the So Powerful program is making, here, I'm going to show you this, because you hear one of the girls. They're making these bags for the girls, these purses, basically. So making purses that are then filled with the necessities, the things that they need, so they can keep them in their purse. And the purses are being donated from people like us that sew. And what Baby Lock and our ambassador team are going to do with the Jason and Cinnamon Miles is a big push to sew bags from September till the end of the year. So September is National Quilting Month, or not quilting, I'm sorry, sewing. It's sewing month. It's like sewing month is September. So that's when it's going to start. So I'll have more details, but I'll link you over there so you can actually read about the program in depth and how it happened, and see who all the people are, see the stories. They have videos, and it's just been so interesting. It was so interesting to hear how they have taught them, because they are sewing on baby locks, a lot of baby locks. So that is pretty neat. So we got the pattern. There's a sort of a pattern that Cinnamon did, which is, it has a little bit more to it, like pockets and all this kind of stuff. And we'll be getting sort of a simpler option for those of you who want to make this but are not bag makers. We'll be having a pattern that's much simpler so that you can participate. So that was, then we did some fun games. There might have been piñatas involved in the evening. But, what stays at Baby Lock, what happens at Baby Lock stays at Baby Lock, right? It's kind of like when you go to retreat. What happens at retreat stays at retreat. So we had a really good time, just getting to know each other, the different ambassadors, because we only see each other online. The next day we concentrated on serger machines, and I don't have a serger, but I found it really fascinating to learn and understand what sergers can do. So I just wanted to show you briefly what the finished product was that we made. This we learned a lot of things when making this, because we actually sewed the entire thing on the serger, everything, even adding the zipper, like everything was done on the serger. There's top stitching. Here, I'm going to turn this around. Can you see the horizontal and vertical lines? There, those were all done on the serger. This, whoops, over here. This really cool stitch was done on the serger on velvet, and we had little scrap things that we worked on first to be able to understand it, and then make the product, and then serge the edge of this big open sort of cabbage rose that I put on there. And it was really fascinating to learn what a serger could do. And the other thing that we also concentrated on was just having some other education on different machines. So I was looking at the Sashiko, some people did the long arm machines. Then I went and worked a little bit deeper on some of the sort of aspects of the Solaris I hadn't figured out yet, or hadn't played with yet, and wanted to understand. So we did tons and tons. It's like, I think all of us, like, our heads were exploding at the end of it was almost 3 days of education, pretty much 3 days. So it was lots and lots of stuff, and we had a super good time. But I want to show you, before I let this go here, before I go into something else, I want to show you my other designs besides what we did for the flag. That wreath is my design that's in the Solaris. But I wanted to show you, I have in this box, I have the other ones. They are so cool. Okay, so my little sewing machine, you can stitch out from the Solaris, and it's just built right in. So all you do is pull it up, make it the size you want, and load threads, it'll do all the red, all the green, all the black. And then you can put in, like, we put in my initial. And I have it in different sizes. It's a different size. And then here's the same wreath, but it's much smaller, so that you can see that they can be resized. So it's got to fold it over there. And then here's another corner spray that can be put on like a tablecloth or napkins. It could be done in a block. I could see this as like a wreath of them, like multiples of them. And that is part of my designs. Okay, so here's another set of flowers at the bottom. And then the embroidery, like red work piece that I have here. And that's and the little stars. So all of those are my designs. And there's another wreath. Oh, this is all stitched in different colors. So you can see how different it looks when it's made up. And then these spirals are also mine, which I think that these would be super cute. Like you can make like a little flower, like they could be the tops of flowers. You could actually make them bigger. They could be a quilting design. There's lots of fun things for those of you who do embroidery. And that is on the, I'm going to put this over here. That is on the Solaris, the Baby Lock Solaris. So you can play around. It's in the Celebrity tabs. And once you find my sewing machine in there, mine are the ones that are around that one. I think Nancy Zebin's are first, then Lindsay's, then mine. Yay! And I got a super cute pen from them. Is this cute or what? Look. Oops, it's got a face. It's like, and to do the pen, you plunk on top of his head. It's like, oh my goodness, so silly. I love it. It's the kind of stuff that just makes you smile, right? So let's see, a couple things I got. I want to first do a shout out to Sharon R., who wrote me a private message, and she said, I found a book, called Oh My Stars. And it's a novel, and she says, can I send it to you? So Sharon sent me a novel. Look at this. Oh My Stars. Have any of you read this? I'm just tickled pink. It's like, oh my gosh, how neat is that? Now I'm going to have to read it and see what it's all about. But I just thank you. That is such a nice thing to do, to think of me when you saw this. So, very cool. You guys are amazing. You make my day. You're just so generous and sweet and wonderful. Okay, now, because I was gone, when I came back, I had a lot of stuff, and my room's a mess. My room's always a mess lately. Well, it's not so much. I have a counter. The counter looks like this. It's just crazy. It's not good. It looks nutty. Do you want me I'm going to show you. Okay. I hope that light doesn't blast you out. Now, some of you may think that that's not so crazy. But you see over on the counter there where the Jubilant is sitting, there's all that stuff. And I am like, this is not how I like to work. No. I have to work really tidy. I don't like to work messy. Okay. I want to show you a couple more things. One is a kit, because I got I got an email or private message or something, whoever, from Kimberly at the Patch Quarter Shop, my buddy Kimberly, and she said, do you want to do the flag sew along with us? And I'm like, yeah, that's what flag sew along? I always say yes first. Yeah, sure. Well, what is it? They have this adorable table runner. And I think that is stinking cute. So they sent me a kit. So that's the kit. It's got all the fabric for the table runner. And I'm going to make it. And you can make it too. I just love doing a small project that comes as a kit. It's like you see it. It's super cute. It'll go with my flags, my old glory flag, pattern. So it's similar colors, so I can hang the flag. I need to get that down from upstairs. Hang the flag in my living room and put this on my table. Yeah, so if you want to do that, I'm going to list everything. So now, before we go on, if you are here and you have not subscribed, if you're watching and you haven't hit the subscribe and the little bell, please do that so that you will know when I do the new videos, because otherwise you miss them. You know, I try to tell you, but you know, there's so much going on all the time on the internet that I know you sometimes miss seeing it, and I don't want you to miss it. So hit the subscribe and get all set up. So the other thing that I got that was really darling that I wanted to show you, and I'm going to put this down on the counter then, is this children's fabric. Cat and the Fiddle. Oh my gosh, it is so, so cute. Okay, let's take a look at it. You know, I always feel like I should have some baby quilts like made up for people. Like when the baby comes, you know, the quilt's already made up. So here is, like, you can see like the Cat and the Fiddle. Like here are the whole bunch of, you know, images from the what is that, nursery rhyme. There's the word I'm looking for. But then they have like one, like the smaller repeat. They have it on blue and on green. All right. I think this is so darling. Look at the little moons and the cows. Also, to the color, there's also a pink version, moons and cows, which is nice. All of these can be, I think, generic. So if you wanted to make like an Oh My Stars in these fabrics, it's quite generic. You don't need to worry if it's a boy or a girl. But here's the text print. Look, I just think that is so cute. Hey diddle diddle, and the dish ran off with the spoon. That's and it comes in blue and red, and then there's the wall, the brick wall. I think I just love fabric like this. So this is a really, really cute children's line, and I want you to know about it in case you are, you know, looking to make a children's quilt in the near future, particularly with the nursery rhyme. You know, hey, maybe the mom's doing nursery rhymes. It'd be just perfect, don't you think? Let me just stick this back here in my office assistant so I can keep track of stuff and I don't lose it. I think I'm going to try to put it back in that. Put it back in here. Do you try to put it back? Probably won't go, but I'm going to try. I'm going to try to put it back. Okay, the other thing that I did was before I went on my trip, I had the evening before we left. So that would have been, we left last Monday. So it'd be last Sunday night. The evening before we left, I thought, you know what? I want to just pull out a UFO that I have. I did not pull out a UFO I probably really should have pulled out, like my Splendid Sampler, or Will You Be My Neighbor, the houses, because I really need to do another house. No. Instead, I pulled out a whole different one. And this is the 4-block section that I did during a sew-along a few years ago. So there, can you see it? That is the block. That's what I did, and it's called Star Cakes. It's a free pattern from Fat Quarter Shop. See, I did the dot in the middle of the sashing. I think that's my favorite part, and I have plenty of fabric for the block. Make the blocks. I have plenty of orange stripe. So it's basically orange and pink. I think this was a fabric line or pieces of a fabric line, something like that. But what I did is I have these containers, you know, these are my containers that have the projects in them. So this is a lot of times where things are stored. And so I went and I got this out, and I thought, when I got it out, I saw, so it's called Star Cakes. Oops, sorry. Star Cakes, there we go. I'm folding it all up. And it goes, you know, you can make it super big or you can make it small, and they do it with sashing, like with white sashing. But I got in here and I had these like done, and I had piles of, you know, half square triangles already done. So what I did was look at, these were already, some of them were stacked on that Sunday night. They were stacked. They're 10-inch squares, like from a layer cake. They're from a layer cake. And they were stacked, and they didn't have all the sewing lines on them. So Sunday night, I sewed them all that I had, and then started cutting some of them out. And then last night and I left all this on my table so that when I got back from the trip, everything was on the table. So last night, I started cutting up and trimming all of these, to the point where I realized I need to count. So I did some math to figure out what I need, how many more I needed to get the, I'm going to do a 4x4 setting. I think it's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I'm going to do the 4x4 setting. And then maybe I'll add a border, maybe not, of something. I'll just see what I have, that maybe I'll add a pink border on it. But I need to make a lot of these, and then I need to sew all those blocks, because it turns out besides those 4 blocks, I only had 3 blocks. So I have a lot more to do. That's why I said it's like not one of those UFOs that is far enough along to be done. So it is. I'm doing them 8 at a time. With the layer cake, this can be sewn 8 at a time, and I do have that instructions if you just want to know what they are in your copy of my triangle book. So I tell you exactly how to do 8 at a time, and I have photo step out of it. So it is. See if I can. It's on the cheat sheet kind of thing, but okay, I did not put. It's in here. It's up towards the front, I think. Okay, I know it's in there. You'll see it. So tonight, well, it's Greg's birthday, so I'm not working on them tonight. But I'm going to get all the triangles done. I'm going to get them all pressed, and then I'm going to sort them into sets for the blocks, for a single block, so that what I have is everything ready to make the single blocks. And once I'm at that point, then what I'm going to do is take it to my office assistant, the rolling cart down here, and I will clip. I'll take like the Wonder Clips. Let me get one. I'll take like the Wonder Clip, and I'll clip each set of half square triangles for a block, and then I can sew those, maybe even, like 1 or 2 a day, something like that. Just because if I don't make a plan like this, it's going to sit in the shelf for even longer. And my great niece that I'm going to give it to is going to get older and older, and little ballerinas may not be appealing if I don't hurry up. And my other niece is only having boys, and right now he's not in ballet. None of them look like they're going to be in ballet. So, and besides, these are little girl ballerinas, so they need to go to one of the girls, I think. Such a dilemma for UFOs that we can't let them wear out. So I want to show you real quick. I'm going to show you real quick this 8 at a time, and I think I have just a minute here. I'm going to show you very, very fast what we do to make them. So they are sewn. Oops, let me pull back a little bit. So they are sewn. Like, I didn't draw a line because I used the laser on my Solaris, my Baby Lock Solaris. I had the laser, and I did a 1/4 inch on either side. So if you were drawing a line, you would see a line there. And then what I'm going to do is to get 8 at a time. First, I want to trim down the middles. So right where these intersections are, I'm going to make sure this is straight across here, and then cut down the middle. And then I'm going to do the same horizontal. Just make sure I'm straight, and you have a little bit of wiggle room there because you're going to trim them. So then I'm going to go across like this, and now I have these 4 units. And with these, it's like a two half square triangles at a time approach. I'm going to cut down the middle, and then I will take a trimming ruler, which I had one. Here it is. And I'm doing 4.5. So I put the 4.5 line on the trimming, on the seam. The 4.5 goes, let me pull it back. Sorry, I got too many rulers in the way. The 4.5 goes right on the seam. and then I trim 2 sides. And I have my squares, or my half square, you know, there'll be squares when I open them. Ta-da, half square triangles. And look at the cute little girls. I just love this. They are so darling. Okay, it is prize time. And I want to remind you to be sure that you have clicked to sign up for the YouTube, you know, hit subscribe. It's free. You don't have to pay to subscribe to YouTube. It just lets you know that you are following this channel. And then there's a link here where you will go to my website to enter. Okay, so you're going to enter at my website. You might be watching this at my website. You might be watching this at Facebook. But I need you to enter at my website because that's where I can get your email. Otherwise, I can't get hold of you. So the winner from last week, which will be getting quickly a whole bundle of fabric, lights, and the super cute tote. Ta-da! And I found a couple other little goodies to put in there, surprise, like this super cute keychain that says "Put your foot down and sew." Yay! A few things like that. So that is going to Judy Heron. And Judy said from last week, her colorway of choice is 4 shades of green right now with black and white. And this is she just the other day watched her very first Fireside Chat. So, yay, Judy, I have emailed you. So you will need to look for that. Look for the email. Okay, so this week I have a new prize. I've asked a couple of my friends, so the next few weeks you're going to see some prizes from some of my designer friends. I thought that would be fun. You can get to know them. You might already know them, so that is awesome. And this week it is a pattern and a jelly roll from a fellow Benartex designer, Krista Watson from Krista Quilts. And so this is her really neat pattern called Weave. I think that's really cool. And it uses her newest fabric line, which she sent me, which is Abstract Garden. So she does very modern, contemporary, bright fabric. And so this will go to somebody. She's doing a sew along for this pattern at her website starting I think maybe even today, and that's at Krista Quilts, and I'll have a link to that. So in order to win this, you need to leave a comment at my website. The link is down there, and I want you to tell me what is your favorite quilt shop. So, you know, what is your favorite quilt shop? It could be local. It could be one that you go and see when you're on travel. It could be one you shop at online. So that is the question, and you could be the winner of Krista's super cute jelly roll, and I think they're called, and they're called Abstract Garden. Lost my way, and Color Weave. I'm Pat Sloan. Please visit me at my Facebook group at Quilt Along with Pat Sloan, and you can find everything that I do at patsloan.com. And remember, we're doing Main Street this so long, so be sure you're in on that. And I will see you next week. Bye-bye.